Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and I'm going to warn you ahead of time. There will be people walking around, vehicles coming through, things like that. So occasionally it's going to get kind of loud. Some people might actually stop and say hello. Don't be surprised. But I figured we'd sit out here and have a nice afternoon together. Maybe you're on your drive home, maybe you're on the other side of the world getting ready to fall asleep. Who knows? But welcome to the channel. Everyone that comes on and is here ahead of time. This is some paint here, right? I've got this food trailer. I'm working on the shelf. And it needs to be painted with a few coats, and it's already had quite a few coats. In fact, before I get started, I'll show you real quick. See? It's going to be the serving window. See, it's nice, right? Okay, so we're just going to right into it. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and definitely share the videos and always comment. Hello, Watchman. So glad to see you and that wrench beside your name again. So nice. Thank you for the thumbs up. That's awesome. Love you too. Very, very, very glad to see everyone. Okay. So yeah, we're going to start with talking about the Suez Canal ship was freed. I was up in the middle of the night. I was up late. And as soon as it came through, it was breaking news. And it was just a little bit unbelievable, I think, for some, because somebody honestly did not believe the report. They thought it was fake news, but it turned out that it was absolutely right. So, this ship was crashed. But see, one thing we don't know is exactly how the crash happened. They've come up with several different possibilities, including a strong wind. If that's true, that's telling for some things. Was it the fault of the crew? Was it an electrical issue? We don't know. We just know that it was blocking that canal for about a week, right? But it's free. But see, that's not the only thing going on. If it's winds, let's go ahead and talk about winds for a minute, okay? Because they're causing a lot of trouble. And most recently, in a tornado outbreak across the eastern half of the United States. And meteorologists are saying that hurricane season here in the Gulf is coming early, like May 15th instead of like June 1st. So I figured we better enjoy this weather while we have it, right? But a prediction model is saying that Texas is going to get hit a couple times, and one through New Orleans again, and one to hit the East Coast. But they're saying it's going to be like a lot of storms. So I just wanted to remind people in Texas that there's a weekend in April coming up. I believe it's the 24th through the 26th, where they're having an emergency, what do they call it? Supply tax weekend. And trailer tie downs and anchors are on that list for a tax-free weekend, because I'm hearing there was a plane that went down in California recently because of strong winds. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad to see you. Oh gosh, I'm so glad that Jim sent you by. Thank you so much. And hey, Jeff, you're on time. That's awesome. Oh yeah, we started getting into the trade deals going on with China in the last video, because of what it's going to do with how oil is bought, where it's bought from, and how it can affect our economy, right? That's a big deal, Absolutely right, Watchman. Weather modification, always a possibility. Amazing how they know. All right. You're welcome, Kimberly and Jeff. And Adrian is here also, Bev Combs. I want to welcome everyone that is here, and thank you for the thumbs up. Okay. So let's get past that just a little bit, what we were talking about. Because we got hurricane season on the way. We got tornado outbreaks like crazy. And if equipment is being affected by that, the weather lately, even the Texas winter storm, it affected the grids. Just things are a little bit off, and they kind of have been. I'll tell you, when it started snowing a few years back, I knew something was wrong. But see, we got another famous report of an aviation crash that happened on Saturday. Some rich guy. And it's always sad when we lose a life anyway. But, this gives rise to some people thinking that it's conspiracy theory. But it was a billionaire. He dies in helicopter crash, and I was able to find it on that list that I'm usually looking at. And it was March 27th, Palmer, Alaska, Airbus helicopter H125 Ecurial. 5 fatalities, 6 occupants. The helicopter crashed near Nick Glacier, Palmer, Alaska. 5 occupants. Okay, the weather recorded. This is what's interesting. At the nearest site, 20 minutes after the incident, was in part wind 330 degrees at 5 knots, 10 statute miles visibility, and broken clouds at 6,500 feet above ground level. Tordrillo Mountain Lodge had chartered that helicopter from Soloy Helicopters, a Wasilla-based charter company, according to the spokeswoman for the lodge. That wasn't the only crash that day. Saw something, a few of them actually, but only quite a few. But I went ahead and just wrote 3 more down. Now, there was one in Italy, went down too, owned and operated by the Italian Finance Police. A Leonardo AW169, operated by the Guardia di Finanza, coded 504, started to taxi, paused, veered to the left, lost directional control, and fell on one side. No injuries reported. See how the chat's going real quick. California, there was another one. No other occupants, just the pilot, and he passed away. It was a crop duster plane that crashed under unknown circumstances near Atirbarai. The pilot died in the crash. The plane was consumed by fire. It was a Neva EMB 201 Ipinema. Same day. Same day as the other ones, March 27th in the UK, Beechcraft 95-B55, 0 fatalities. A plane had to make an emergency landing at Wellesbourne after an apparent mechanical fault. No one was injured during the incident this afternoon. Police officers and firefighters were called to Bourne Airfield following a report of an airplane in difficulty. See? Mechanical fault for that last one. See? So it's not just the planes, it's the ships now too. So you kind of just be taking a look. And the weather's a little crazy right now. Just came through Washington State last night, 70-mile-an-hour winds. They should be meeting up in the Midwest. Ooh. Yeah, this stuff usually tends to travel from west east and build momentum. It seems like there's this area above Houston. It seems like there's kind of a line where the weather kind of starts developing there, and as it rolls east, it just seems to get worse as it hits Louisiana, then Alabama, and on to Florida. But it is, Mike from around the world had mentioned that storms would be something that we would come to be afraid of. The winds, the hail. I mean, even North Texas had some pretty big hail recently, did it not? All right. Okay, on March 8th, the very next day, we had some more. Okay, I didn't list them all, but I'm going to tell you just like kind of the highlights of that day. March 28th, France. Private ultralight plane shortly after takeoff from Eagleton's airfield. The pilot of an ultralight plane crashed the plane into some trees, but the pilot survived. That same day, in France, same country, a Mudry Cap 10B -A Mudry or Mudry Cap, yeah, same thing, crashed under unknown circumstances. The pilot died in the crash. A small aerobatic plane was doing loops over the Villanueva-sur-Lot airfield when it nosedived after the second figure and crashed to the ground, said a witness. The plane would have fallen on the dog training site at Rohe, just next to the airfield. Okay, so things are coming along, and then all of a sudden, boom, oil refinery in Indonesia blows up during some bad weather. We're hearing that a lot, right? Now, when it comes to oil refineries, chemical plants, I'm from the Gulf Coast area. Okay, I say even my grandfather's ashes were spread out in the Gulf of Mexico. Scuba dived there and taught scuba diving lessons. And my dad. Okay, so my father, ever since we got out of the army back in 79, he's had one job, and that is at a chemical plant on the coast. So every time one of them catches fire and they don't tell us the name of it yet, just where it is, I'm calling my dad and asking him, "Are you okay?" And he'll tell me, "Oh, it was this plant over here." Or, "Yeah, I'm just fine. Everything is good." But that's something that you have to worry about when my dad goes to work. And the kind of explosion that this facility had, wow, it was enormous. And then this massive fire has just blazed and engulfed what looks like the entire facility. Tons of black smoke. So, the chemicals are going up in the air, and that's why they had to evacuate about 950 residents. But not only that, the homes nearby suffered damage with cracking from the initial blast. But you can hear the people screaming on this video as you see what's happening. It's very disturbing to watch. So now we've got oil refineries, planes crashing, and, a ship. Okay, let's check the live stream chat real quick. I'm gonna work, Jeff. I'm gonna try to get my rig tied down. I'm gonna pray that I can afford to do that. I'm gonna definitely try, because my RV is not tied down at all. Right? But I'm sure God will provide. There was a food truck that came through right before Passover weekend started this weekend, and it provided this whole neighborhood with food. I'm talking bread, onions, potatoes, cheese, so much cheese and sandwich meat. I mean, it was just tons and tons and tons of food. It was so much I actually had to put some in my neighbor's fridge because I couldn't fit it all. Yeah, this shelf is going. See, the thing is these shelves, they're painted. I painted them, but you have to do a couple coats, and then after this one, I have to do the clear coat, because this is not going to be enough, not on a serving shelf out in the weather, but it will help against like mildew or whatever. So you see, it's coming along, and I wouldn't have been able to afford this shelf or this paint without y'all. So thank you very, very much. But it looks so good and looks so clean. I wish I could see it, but if I pick it up, I'll give you more paint all over my hands. Thank you, Jeff. All these prayers, they really help a lot. Seems like these refineries blow up like movie stars in sets of 3. And my dad, he's told me so much about these plants. I actually, back in the 80s and 90s, we actually used to have company parties where we'd play volleyball, and sometimes they'd give us a tour of the plant, and they'd have barbecue and just a lot of fun stuff. And then, my school would take us through different manufacturing places, like where they make diapers and stuff like that. But nowadays, you can't really get into these refineries. You don't get into them. But my dad told me about the equipment. And sometimes if it's not maintained very well, or if you've got, like if you're bored, what's it called? It's a main board in the office they supervise. If they're having sensor issues or any kind of computer issues, or even an increase or decrease in pressure, or even human error while they're working on something, it can cost a lot of lives. It can cost everything. You need concrete anchors, or be able to bury concrete with a chain. Concrete anchors, or to be able to bury the concrete with a chain in it. Oh, wow. That's it. I'm calling some friends to help me with this. I can see that this is not something I'm going to be doing by myself. Concrete, huh? All right. I'll see what I can figure out. That's really good advice. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about super duper fast. Okay, so we got these oil refineries, and it does upset me. But there was another one that I found that was happened in June of 2019 that was really very similar looking to the one in Indonesia. It was in Philadelphia oil refinery. There were no injuries at the time, unlike the 5 casualties of the explosion in Indonesia. But in Philadelphia, they didn't have any injuries at all. But the gas and the jet fuel prices started going up. So in that area, that could be impacted, the prices of their fuel. Um, Besides that, Trump is back in the news, and that may or may not be a good thing to people, but he does have a lot to say, and he is not taking the responsibility for the border crisis that it looks like in the news that Biden's trying to place on Trump. I don't know what that thinking is all about or how they came to that conclusion. Oh, hold on just a second. Dennis, I'm on a live. I told y'all that could happen. I'll call you soon. Mia is. In a little bit. Okay. I'll call you. Told you what happened. 80 bag pound of concrete is only $5. Ooh, that's good to know. Yeah, I know the landlord, so I'll definitely ask him. Yeah, I'll check it out. Because the anchors, those are going to be tax free. Boy, I'm going to get a handy wipe super fast because I do not want to necessarily touch my computer right now. Look at my hands. Well, yeah, a lot of people here are camera shy. They know. They come up and talk to me all the time. It's very unusual for me to be out here any length of time without some people coming up and talking to me. We're working around the houses, cars driving by. It's crazy. Okay. All right. So, got more. Okay. Now, we're going to move on to the last part of the live stream that I wanted to bring up with y'all. And it's after that last part titled GMO Humans. Now, I want to remind you, do you remember when they started coming out with these GMO vegetables, on their farms, and whoever made these, was it Soros maybe? If your seeds ended up, their seeds ended up on your land, then they owned that food, even if it's on your land, because it was patented genetically modified organism. Now, I was watching this video, right, that a friend of mine sent me, and it was about the jab and the cotton swab test, right? And the cotton swab turns out has these silver microfibers that kind of move on their own, and it goes back to that there's a mucosal barrier, some kind of barrier between your sinuses and going into your brain, and it's very absorbing. But they put that Q-tip all the way back and they twist it. There's concern about that, but what this doctor said was, well, if they genetically modify you, then they own you. I was like, that is something I haven't even thought about because it's patented. And so what I went ahead and did is I put the link to that video in the description box so that y'all could listen to it yourself. But this doctor, she said it herself, because you're a genetically modified organism. Now, there's a lot more that's said on that video that blew my mind, and I definitely don't want to plagiarize or get into trouble here on this forum. I forgot to do it, but I'll do it when we get done here, to put a link to my backup channel so that y'all can cruise on over there just in case something happens to this channel besides the obvious shadow banning that's already going on. Okay. So I would encourage you to definitely pull that video up and watch it, and go to my backup channel. And again, I want to tell y'all that some of these comments that y'all make get erased, but they're not being erased by me. So if something like that happens and you know that I don't have any beef with you, I probably did not do that. There's this one troll that keeps trying to put these porn links up as soon as my live streams are done in the comment section. And they use different names every single time. I delete that. But your comments, I don't do that. Okay. So I don't know if there's much more I could do to this board today, but I thought I'd at least let you know the weather's crazy, and it's expected to get crazier. So days like this should definitely be cherished. And I got to do 2 jobs at once. I'm going to go ahead and get off the live stream, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful Monday, the rest of it that there is, and that you stay safe. All right. God bless everybody. Bye.